What is the difference between calling something out and casting pearls before swine? One difference. It's the only difference you need to remember. When you call something out, you do it because you know that there's danger and things are about to go in the wrong direction. So the safety and sanity of the community is at stake. Then you have to call something out. Unless the public around you is invested in negativity. If the public around you is invested in negativity, then don't call it out. You only hint that something is off. And as expected, people will brush it off or they'll show some hostility when you hint towards something. And once that happens, you shake the dust off your feet and you move on. You leave the situation. Don't stay in situation after they decline facing something. When you hint something and they decline facing it, move away. Let's look at what Jesus did. There was a time a man came with his little boy who was demon possessed. Now, how come little boy is demon possessed? It has to do with negative projections from the community. But guess what? The father was there, takes responsibility for his son. Which also in the culture back then was what was expected of fathers. But his father lacked faith. He operated on unbelief. So he was actually contradicting himself. He was actually sabotaging the effort to help his own son. So Christ called it out in the open. He should have, because the man was sabotaging the effort towards his son, who was just a child. So in this case, there was danger, a child being demon possessed, and the demon is hurting the child to the child's body, and the parent, in this case, the father, is out of line. And there was no community around condoning it. So Christ called it out, as he should. One time, there was this Syro-Phoenician woman that came with a daughter who was demon possessed. Question is, where's the father? Who is the father? If the husband passed away, she would be a widow, but it's nowhere recorded in scripture she was a widow. So if she's not a widow, how come the father's not around? Did the father leave her for another woman? Or was she impregnated by a married man, was married to someone else? Or what's going on here? Or did she sleep with the guy and the guy found out she was pregnant, the guy left? Anyway, there was some controversy over here. It should have been the father of the child coming for help, not the mother. The fact the mother had to come means there was a controversial situation. And remember, this woman was a single mom, all by herself, and she had a daughter. No male companion around to protect her. If Jesus would have called out how horrible the situation was and healed the little girl, the woman would have returned, but she would have become the target of the public's rage. Because understand, the public cannot handle when you call out their neglect. If your body needs food, because it needs nutrients, so you feel hungry and you don't eat, you're going to get cramps in your body, you're going to get tired. I mean, your body is going to revolt against you if you don't give it the proper nutrients and you don't give it food. When you're thirsty, it means your body needs water. You don't drink water, you're going to get a sore throat, you may even die. If you don't sleep well enough, your body is going to malfunction. So anytime you go against the design of your body, there's a penalty you bring on yourself. Same it is with us mentally. No human being, I don't care your age nor your rank in the community, no human being can get away with being inconsistent towards their own community and remain sane long term. Your own mind will revolt against you. You'll become mentally disordered eventually. That's why people turn into reprobates, sociopaths, psychopaths, narcissists, and all of that. Listen, fallen mankind is all about escaping. But if everyone keeps escaping, things go wrong. Let's say there's a bridge there, and the bridge is unstable. People know the bridge is unstable, but nobody puts a sign there, bridge unstable, don't use. And nobody even pushes the authorities to actually fix the bridge. And they're not even volunteers willing to fix the bridge voluntarily for the safety of the community. One day a foreigner passed on the bridge collapsed, foreigner dies. Who killed the foreigner? The community did. Because the community was incompetent and neglectful. Now, when this comes out, that there is a human loss that cannot be brought back, whether someone being injured severely, someone going to prison for something they didn't commit, or someone died, especially when it comes to children, when the community's neglect is exposed and the people have to face the damage they've caused, they will go into a meltdown. Now, if one individual has a meltdown, losing it, you can call the cops, or you can restrain them by using a gun. If multiple people at the same time are having meltdowns, it's going to be more difficult and more exhausting. If hundreds of people, or maybe thousands, have a meltdown at the same time, wow, there's no way any authority in the world can deal with this. And if you're a local who has a house or a farm or anything physically established, that establishment is in danger of being torn apart. So nobody wants a societal meltdown. So that's why in the world you have all these restrictions on what to say, what not to say. That's why you have censorship in the world. Now, I don't think I agree with all censorship in the world, but censorship is there to prevent a societal meltdown. That's why Christ taught us not to cause pearls for swine. If the public around you is not willing to take responsibility, they always insist on excuses to be wrong and incompetent and neglectful, give them their fairy tale and move away from them. You don't approve what they're doing, you don't agree with it, you don't condone it, you just move away. Because if you pressure and call it out, what's going to happen is people are going to have mental breakdowns. Because remember, the mind is not built to be inconsistent in a community setting. So once they have a mental breakdown, you're going to have a meltdown. You're going to have a societal meltdown. And once that happens, you're going to have random stabbings, random killings. You're going to have people suicide jumping. You're going to have people taking out their rage on children, beating up children. You're going to have all types of weird shit happening. And guess what? Once the meltdown occurs, who are people going to blame? You. Before you know it, the whole population is going to turn on you. So, do not trigger unnecessary danger. Sometimes you call something out because it's necessary and there's a meltdown. That's inevitable. Sometimes a meltdown is inevitable, but as it depends on us, we should avoid a meltdown as much as possible. I know for sure I caused meltdowns with some of my videos by the things I called out. Did I intend to cause meltdowns? No, but sometimes a meltdown is inevitable when you're addressing something that needs to be addressed. Well, remember, there's a difference between calling something out and causing pearls for swine. A lot of believers, including believers who use YouTube, are causing pearls for swine. They're triggering unnecessary danger by calling out people that are clinging onto a delusion. When people insist on escaping all the time, they're clinging to a delusion. And when they cling to a delusion, they become unstable and dangerous. So, am I saying you should never call something out? Of course not. There are times you have to call things out. But beware how you call it out and when you call it out. Well, that's it for now. Keep on in Christ and be at peace.